Och jag ska först och främst bjuda upp Josette Buschell-Mingo, som är en konstnärlig kraft, en konstnärlig spruta. Du pratar mycket om demokrati och inkludering.
Kanske.
Du har gjort en barockoperan med ungdomar i Tensta. Kom.
Hela.
Du har fått pris och väldigt välkommen. Kom. Det finns vatten där. Om du vill ta det i munnen. Brukar du titta i munnen?
Yeah, it's a little quieter today. Have you finished?
Yes.
Okay, everyone. Before I start, I'm speaking English. I'd like to teach you something. I'd like to give you something before I go. Så. Applaus på teckenspråk. Prova. I can be like a teacher now. I can see you up the back. Så. Ha. Ha. Varsågod. Skola. 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 Någonting jätteviktigt i Sverige. Vad tycker det här? Yeah, kaffe. The times changed, my friends, and coffee has become Sverige. Sverige? Varför där Sverige? A long time ago, Sweden used to have a lot of lace on the sleeves. Lace. Så här. Så där det kommer. Sverige. Där. Annat. Here's one for you. Mångkulturell. Prova. Mångkulturell. Vad betyder det idag? Funderar jag. The things that I give you are also there to remind you that in this room there are some people not yet represented. There are some people not here. Vi inte tappa dem. Så. Is that better? There. So, I'm not going to spend the next 20 minutes patronizing you. I'm just going to talk from myself. If you don't like what I say, then you know where to find me. I shall be at Riksteatern. That's where I live. I wanted to extend my thanks for the invitation. Why is our arts culture so important to us? Why do I bother to come here again and share thoughts with you? Why do you in your work, why do you do this? I just wanted to share a few of my thoughts around how I believe the artists and the schools, the teachers and the young people that we work with can work more together. I believe it is a human right to create. It is a human need to express oneself. And to express oneself in a creative way. I believe there can be no creative democracy, everyone's right to konst, unless everyone is involved, unless everybody is included. I fundamentally believe that we in Sweden are on the edge of change. Not just an economic change, ekonomisk kris. Vi pratar mycket om det. Not just on global migration. People moving from all over the world, coming to Sweden. But actually, I believe Sweden has the chance to become a beacon, a light of inclusion. To include people. There are many countries before us including the United Kingdom, which is where I am from, that have made a lot of mistakes in the past. Colonialist mistakes, cultural mistakes, and racial mistakes. But here in Sweden, I believe that we can learn, that we can understand, and that we can find the opportunity to deeply analyze why not all of us, let's be truthful about this, not all of us can participate in our contemporary cultural lives. And there are lots of factors around that, and you will know it better than me. I'm not here to patronize you. I'll say it again, we are not all able to participate in the cultural life of Sweden. I wasn't going to say this, but I decided to put it in the text. In Sweden and across Europe at the moment, a right-wing storm is brewing. The rise of the right wing, of the racist parties, of nationalism, whatever you choose those words to be, whatever you think those words mean, is growing. It's spreading. This notion and this idea is casting those of us who are different, those of us who are not real Swedes, those of us who do not look right or sound right. This movement is pushing us out. And you in your jobs and in your capacities, you with your passion and the things that you teach will know this. How can we work together? This new movement is pushing people out who don't agree with them. And I believe fundamentally that this will and is affecting the jobs that you do, whether you are an artist or whether you are from a teaching institution or a national institution. But let's be clear from the beginning. I am full of hope. Jag ska lära dig på teckenspråk. Hope. Tum in, pulla tum, look, pop. Hope. I'm full of hope. Positive. There's another one. Feeling quite positive about things. Yeah, it seems clear that those who do not look right don't have a chance in quite the same way. Sometimes it's people who look like me. But it does seem clear that those that look right, speak right, and can afford to participate in the arts are becoming more and more of a select few. Of course, and many of them are actually gathered in this room today. For example, there are, of course, individuals and organizations that have worked in Sweden for many years, much, much better than me, on inclusive theatre, work that includes other people. And they are brilliant at it, experts at it. But for the smaller organizations and the individuals that are often underfunded, under-recognized, and certainly we have this problem in the United Kingdom, put in the box of community theatre, children's theatre, not good theatre, by the cultural elite. This is the greatest mistake that we can make. We need the schools, the teachers, the artists more than ever to step up together to the challenge and to counteract the often offensive belief that some of us cannot participate. Some of us are not worthy. Some of us should be gotten rid of. I believe the schools, teachers, artists together can lift up the best of ourselves, can create the fullest potential in a human being. That's not bad, is it? They do. I believe that it is knowledge, the knowledge to know, the knowledge to understand, to choose and to analyze, to form one's own way of thinking, to see that we are not alone in this world. And that whether it's through maths, painting, football, circus, dance, writing, that capacity, that potential from us all is quite dangerous. We know from the beginning of time, whether it be from the cave paintings, ritualized singing, cultural dancing, reenactments, depictions of the gods, of monsters, of spirits, of humans. From the very beginning of time, we understand that these things were here to help us understand the world that we live in. The arts mirror our experiences, or do they? Are the arts really mirroring the experiences of those who live today in Sweden, Stockholm, Sundsvall, Göteborg, Malmö, och så vidare? The arts as a place to mirror our experiences. And this is something quite interesting, a place to feel and to be challenged, to see oneself, the society around us, and to understand ourselves and others. To know that this very short life that we have is maybe not all that we have. And even if it is, maybe it's not a complete waste of time. To create is power. It is a power that releases in us hope and knowledge. And as I said before, these are dangerous things to loosen in the world. That's why this gathering is really exciting. A lot of what I'm saying is focused around theatre. That's what I know. That's where I come from. Even though I work with film, dance, professional, non-professional artists, schools, youth groups, big theatres from Dramaten, Royal Shakespeare Company, tiniest organisations, installations out in my work at Tyst Teater. My work at Riksteatern's Tyst Teater. Our youth and small children's programme of work. That splits itself into 4 areas. Our first work is actually to help and work alongside schools so that young deaf children get their language, and through their language, their identity. Who am I? At Tyst Teater, in our young people's programme, we have workshops, international collaborations. We have seminars, not just to invite a younger generation to Tyst Teater, but actually to try to start to argue and show the right to culture in Sweden, not just us, at Riksteatern. Time and time again at Tyst Teater, we are seeing the lack of inclusion. Not just about sign language, but thinking about other people. To include someone in something is to have them at the forefront of your thought already. That it isn't a improvised or afterthought. Time and time again, Tyst Teater are finding itself in a position where we are also having to lobby at state level. So that, for example, we are not having to pay approximately, give or take, just under 1 million crowns alone for interpretation. And that's in culture. So if we want to rehearse, we want to do Shakespeare, we want to do a new writing, You have deaf actors, hearing director, we have to have interpreters to communicate. And we have to pay for those interpreters. You start to produce 2 shows a year, you can imagine the calculation for yourself. One interpreter maybe costs around £700 an hour. We rehearse 5-6 hours a day. As I said before, the work and the comments that I make are based on my work as an artist currently in Sweden today. But the one thing that I have discovered, no matter where I have been, whether it's Ghana or Germany, Australia, United States, Bulgaria or Kiruna, which is where I just come from, working with 5 out of the 6 minority languages in one production. Crazy, man. It doesn't matter where I work, the same stuff happens. It doesn't matter whether I work with people who are just working in the library or whether I'm working in the cultural sector, the same thing happens. When people participate, create, when an idea blossoms, whether it's to stand on stage or to stand in front of the class, whether it's to paint the scenography, whether it's to sell tickets, whether it's the mother or the father watching their child on stage, whether it's as teachers and practitioners will know this, watching an artist or a young person struggle with their self-confidence. To watch this person stand up, to watch this person sign, speak, read, say hi. That power that the arts gives is more than just magic, it is transformation, and therefore it is power. The thought, if I can do this, then there is hope for me. If I have hope and pride in myself, I can walk out into this world armed and strengthened. If through this power of knowledge, I can understand my history, my culture, my politics, I can start to discuss about love, desire, irony. And I say this as a working class East End girl born in the United Kingdom. The statistics said that I shouldn't even be standing here today. Technically, I shouldn't be. You know those statistics yourself. How we are divided, what we're supposed to achieve, what we're not supposed to achieve. We strive in the theatre to create an open space. I believe we strive in our schools and in our institutions for open space, where we can deal and really deal, because we are living in times we are going to have to start to deal concretely with these issues of racism, homophobia, religion, and then all the average things like dreams, struggles, fears. I believe that together we can make a better future and a better history. In the arena of theatre, there is no limit, and everything is possible. What you thought would never happen could happen. It's possible on a stage for someone to come up and say to me, "Hey nigger, what's going on?" And I respond to him and say, "Don't you call me that. Don't call me that. I can do that in the theatre, on the stage. Out in the street, it's something else. We have the capacity between us to loosen these questions, deal with these issues. It's not just about the big things, of course. It's also about the little moments. And no matter what subject, what form, or what art, when people say, "You see it, you know it. I can. I just did that. I just did it." And it's something that you cannot necessarily communicate, but it is a deep understanding. Something that's very important to me also is our focus on the elders in our society and the young, our tiny children, of course, but our youth, the ones that seem to sit in the both worlds, wisdom and openness to know that the world is bigger than them, but also that the world exists inside them. Hopefully innocent enough still not to come with cynical questions, but honest and open. If I don't get it, if I can't relate to it, maybe I don't accept it. Theatre teaches that it is not just about the TV and the so you think you can dance and the glee club and all those things are absolutely bloody fantastic. But the live work, the live arts as well, remind us that to create is real. Real. It's work. And also as well, you get to meet people. You get to meet people. People often think that I exaggerate when I speak like this. It's quite dramatic and it's quite over the top. But over the years that I've been working both in the United Kingdom and all over the place, including the last productions, I've seen it happen. I've seen the transformation happen. I've seen people change. When I worked at schools, when I worked out, I've seen people transformed by what we do. Within the schools, and it's a credit to our teachers who continue to work under increasingly complicated conditions. Credit to our teachers, and that we've tried to give them the best support that we can through the arts, and the arts are not just for fun. As you pointed out quite rightly at the beginning, they're tools for learning. And for me, I'm interested in tools for learning, not just that, because of course, if it wasn't for a teacher, I couldn't write my speech. I couldn't say my name. Somebody gave me that. But then also, more and more increasingly, I believe that the school settings, the art settings, the institution settings are places to release frustration. Release the sense of not belonging. Release a sense that maybe this world might be a little hopeless. We have the capacity to examine our most complex emotions. We give visual voice to someone who won't speak, whether it's through paintings or sculpture, photography, movement, digital technology, film, animation. Together we give courage and social understanding, whether it's through the great plays, Shakespeare, Strindberg, the list is endless. I'm here to remind you, because time is moving on, is that we must continue to work toward a room where all are present and equal, and that all can connect with this energy and power that you all know and that you deal with every day of your lives. Who isn't here today? Who isn't represented here today? And that's a good thing to think about. It's up to us to constantly ask why we still have to justify our work with the arts. It's up to us and the arts institutions to lobby towards the politicians to make better political decisions around arts and arts education. For us to strive for more mischievous collaborations and development. And a final thing, we must also be vigilant as to the kinds of stories that we tell and the histories and art that we lift up. These are ideas. These are laws and politics and behavior that have changed today. We must make sure that the stories we tell, the knowledge we give, represent the people we teach. The arts, as I said, give us something that is dangerous in this world. Hope. And that makes all things possible. And I believe that that is our greatest power. Jag vill bara säga tack. Varsågod. På svenska teckenspråk. Tack så mycket. Tack, Josette. Tack. Thank you. Oh, ja, du kommer ihåg. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a really wonderful time.
Du pratade om den här transformeringen av människor som arbetar med dig. Vad sa ungdomarna i Tensta när ni gjorde den här barockoperan? Du talar ju med dem om sådana saker också, eller hur?
I think, in terms of what the young people say themselves, I mean, one of the first things, I've never had so many hugs and kisses in my life. Because that was the closest way that a young person, because you don't go up to a young person and say, so vad tycker du om du har bara sjunga med opera? Tycker det var kul? Det går inte. But what was very clear was how it physically empowers them. What was very important as well, and I think some people will speak about that, was also inclusion from the whole process. They saw the designs. They worked with the voice coach. They did some of the choreography on stage, which we then incorporated. So in terms of a young child, around about 8 or 9, coming to me and saying, I think this is the best thing I've ever done, it was more a case of, this is so cool. Look at my costume. I'm dressed as a rabbit. And my mother saw it, or my brother saw it, or when we're talking about religious situations, where parents have said quite clearly, you cannot participate. My child cannot participate in this because of their religious beliefs. In the arts, we have an extraordinary capacity to go, so you can't participate. What did your mum say? Okay then. Who's going to go ahead now? There's a choice I can make. I can turn around and say, what? How are we supposed to do the show? This isn't going to work. Or, which is the transformation of art, I say, you know what? I've just got myself a second assistant director. And they look at me, cool. Just because you're standing on the stage, what's happening behind the stage is just, come on, off we go, you're in charge of the props. Possible. The power of transformation in the moment to say that you are not forgotten, and whoever you are is not a reason that you cannot participate, and also how to balance. They were absolutely extraordinary. Extraordinary. Operan had worked with the Tensta, this specific group, for some time. And the teachers, I have never seen, first of all, their passion, their clarity with the children, learning the songs with us, rolling on the floor, these maths teachers, science teachers. I mean, literally, because we had to move all the classes around. There were 40 students, all standing going, la 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 la, and this is what they were doing. They were standing there. The teachers were behind them, and the teachers would support. The teachers would come in and go, okay, we see this child here. Okay, but the attention always gets a bit difficult, so they took the child out, and then they would just sit with them and, talk about masks and props, and when the child was breathing, in they'd come again. And the most important thing was that relationship. It was an privileged position, because you dialogued tillsammans. We changed plans together. I didn't come and just go, whoops, that's it. And there were 40 children in rotation. So one day, you would go into the class, and you would teach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 times. You would literally do this for half an hour, then change, and then change. It was an extraordinary experience. And it went on to do good things, even though those children have left. It's still talked about.
Jo, för att jag har fått några skolor som sätter upp sådana kabaréer, du vet. Och i en klass då så gjorde vi en utvärdering efter kabarén. Och då var det väldigt många som direkt sa så här, Anki tjatar, så. Och det var läraren i klassrummet bredvid då. De jobbade ihop 2 klasser. Och barnen hade väldigt mycket att säga om detta. Alltså de kände sig, det de berättade om var egentligen att de kände sig kränkta under den här processen med produktionen. Det blev produktionshets. Och lärarna körde stenhårt, för det var, ni vet. Så, och egentligen blev det en lista på hur barnen egentligen blev kränkta i ett estetiskt arbete. Och det är det där som jag kallar för lydig kreativitet. Och som du är ett exempel på att man tänker annorlunda när man skapar, även om det är en produktionshets. Absolut. Ja, absolut. Ja. Tack Josette för att du kom hit.
Tack själv.